Hello traders, welcome back to this video. So it's another day to do our top-down analysis, and today I'm here with GBP as my first pair, guys. So on GBP we have been having an uptrend, but right now price shows that we're going to be looking for some selling opportunities. So on GBP so we had a very good selling pressure to the downside. Price came into this low here in the daily time frame, swept this low's liquidity, and then after sweeping that low's liquidity, we have been having price moving to the upside. So price came into this area here. Price came into this order block, tapped into this order block, and then we have some aggressive selling the downside. So I was waiting for this low to be taken out here. You can see this low here. Confirm that price is willing to move even lower to the downside. So currently right now on GBP I'm going to look for some selling opportunities, and I want to look for a retest into these areas. Let's say maybe this daily order block that we have here, and then we also have this fair value gap just above that point of interest. So it's either price comes into this daily order block and react from there, and then also price can also come into this fair value gap that we have, and then react from there, drop the downside. So on GBP if I come into the 4-hour time frame, so you can see clearly there were some bullish structures that were being formed, and the last low to form before having this break of structure here to the upside was taken out. So we had this break here to the upside, and price came down to take that low. Therefore, it means that we have a shift in market structure to the downside. So we already have the change of character, guys, and we expect price to have a pullback at least into the 50% level, and then we have a drop to the downside. So currently right now, that is what I expect on GBPSD. I want to see a pullback into the 50% level before I take my sales to the downside. So remember, we had this daily order block as our first point of interest. Price might tap in there and react a little bit, and then we have a pullback into the 50% level. So personally, I won't be interested a lot with this daily order block. So I'll be interested more with this uh, daily fair value gap that we had. And then you can see clearly here, we have a very beautiful 4-hour fair value gap that, that is not mitigated. So we have that beautiful fair value gap there, and that will be my best point of interest. So I'll be expecting price to come back into this fair value gap, and then we look for more sales to the downside. So that will be my view on GBPSD. I want to see price pulling back into this area, and then we start looking for selling opportunities from there. Also, we have this point here. So if we have our trades from around that area, stop loss should be above that point, and then we target. Let me look at the daily time frame. So, and then we can target, let's say maybe this low here, this area, we have this order block here, or even this external liquidity, because I think price will be going to take out the external liquidity after taking out this internal liquidity. So currently right now on GBPSD, that is what I think we will be looking for some good selling opportunities from that area, and then we target the external liquidity. So you can be taking a trades targeting, let's say maybe first your first target will be 1:3 risk to reward ratio, which is around this area, and then as we continue we target this external liquidity. So that is what I think on GBPSD. Let us wait for a pullback into this area, and simply let us see something like this before we take any trade the downside. So that is what I think, guys. Next, I have Euro USD as my next pair. So on Euro USD, from our last video, we had this point of interest here. I tapped into that area. We had this change of character, but I didn't have a very good point of interest to take that trade to the upside. And this is the reason why I've been telling you guys that if we want to confirm a change of character, we must see an impulsive move, break that high, confirm a very good change of character. So later on, price came down. We had a small reaction from this area, and then price continued going to the downside. So typically, this is some liquidation that was happening there. Personally, I didn't take that trade because of this kind of momentum that price was moving was having to the upside. So we always want to see some aggressive move, take out this high so that we can know that the market is communicating to us that buyers are inside the market. So here you can see clearly the market was struggling to move to the upside. So if I come into the 4 hour time frame, price went down to break this low, meaning we have a change of character to the downside. And if we expect price to respect this change of character, we must see a pullback and then we have a continuation to the downside. So we have that the market clearing that low, meaning we have a change of character to the downside. And then right now we need to look for a pullback, let's say maybe into these areas before we look for sales to the downside. So we have this high here, and then we also have a very good order block at this point. We have that order block. Although I want to see price coming back into the 50% level before I take any trade opportunity to the downside. So we must have price coming back into these areas before we take our sales to the downside. And if I come into the daily time frame, you will see how aggressive we have some selling uh, opportunity to the downside. So currently right now, I think price will be going down to clear this external liquidity. Though I wanted to see price coming back into the 50% level of this Fibonacci retracement tool from this high to this low. So the market can continue down, clear this low, and then later we can have that pullback into that area. But as of now, let us wait patiently because price is showing some aggressive selling from this area. I think price is having a reaction from this order block here on the daily time frame. That is why we have that selling aggressiveness to the downside. So currently right now, I will be waiting for price to pull back into this area, and if we have a confirmation from that point, we can be looking for our selling opportunities from that area, and then we target the external liquidity. So what I want to see price doing from that point, I want to see price coming back into this point here. We wait for the market to confirm to us that we are having the selling opportunity, and then we take our sales to the downside. So that is what I expect, guys, on Euro USD. We wait for a pullback, and then we have a continuation to the downside. So that is it, guys, on Euro USD. Let me know what to think in the comment section if you have a different opinion. Next, I have BTC USD, guys. So on BTC USD in the daily time frame, this week we have been looking for some buys to the upside, and we had this break here to the downside. As always, we expect price to have a pullback into the 50% level. Clearly, in the daily time frame, you can see we have a bearish movement to the downside, and we also expect to look for sales once price gives us that selling opportunity. So we must look for price to come into the 50% level. But if price won't come into the 50% level, we can still look for some selling opportunities to the downside. So if price is going to respect this high here, we need to look for a change of character here before we take ourselves to the downside. And the target will be this external liquidity. But because we don't have a change of character yet, we must wait patiently to see if price will be reacting from this area here. So from our last video, I said that once price comes into this fair value gap and we have an opportunity, we look for our buys from that area to the upside. But price has come into this area, and we expect price to have a change of character before we take any trade opportunity from this area, the upside or to the downside. So currently in the 4 hour time frame, you can see that price tapped into the daily fair value gap, and we had a very good reaction. And price later on came down to take out that fair value gap, so I can clear it. And inside the 4 hour time frame, you can see that the price is forming some beautiful break of structures to the upside up to this high. And if the price is going to respect this high because of this break of structure to the downside, we expect price to have a change of character, and therefore it means that price has to take out this low. So I was waiting for price to come into this area. If we have a change of character from this area, an aggressive change of character from this area, we'll be looking for our buys from this point to the upside. But if price won't react from this point and take out this low, we expect price to be dropping, and that will tell us that the market is respecting this high, and we will be taking our sales to the downside. But as of now, I expect price to come into this point and have a reaction, and then if we have the change of character from that point, we take our buys from that area, and we'll be targeting that high to be taken out, because we expect price to be pulling back into the 50% level. So that is what I expect. I expect price to drop down, and then if we have the change of character, we take our buys this external liquidity. But if we don't have a change of character, just know that price is going to clear this low, and then we wait for a pullback, and then we continue dropping BTC USD to the downside. So I will be updating you guys on BTC USD if we have the confirmation on our next analysis. So I also have another pair. I also have US30. So on a US30, if I come into the daily time frame, we have some aggressive selling downside, and I think price is coming at around this area here. We have the market having a very good fair value gap at this point, and I think the market is attracted to this area, and we are supposed to be looking for sales to come into this area. So currently right now, if we are going to look for those short-term selling opportunities, I can see here that price came into this daily order block to mitigate that daily order block. We had this aggressive selling, price broke structure below this point here, and we have this pullback to come and mitigate this daily order block. And as from that analysis, we want to look for some selling opportunities from that area. So currently right now, if I clear that daily order block, we can see that we have some beautiful downtrend structures. Price is making some good lower lows and lower highs. You can see that lower low, lower high, lower low here, lower high, and then a lower low. We also expect price to make a lower high, and then we move to the downside to make a lower low. So currently right now, because of that, we want to look for those selling opportunities. We have this break here to the downside, have this break here to the downside, and therefore it means our range is coming from this high. So we have that break, so we have our range from this high, this low. So any trade that we are going to take inside this structure, we are going to target this external liquidity. And also we don't expect the market to be taking this high, because once it clears that high, we'll be having different structure in the market. So currently right now in the daily time frame, as you can see here in the fib level, we have the price pulling back into the 50% level. Then inside that 50% level, we have a very beautiful order block, which I've marked here. You can see in the 1 hour time frame that order block that we have there. And currently price is reacting from that order block. So if we want to take our selling opportunities, let us drop into into the lower time frame so that we can see if price is reacting from that area very well. So if I come into the 15 minutes time frame, so we expect price to be selling from that area. And if we want to see more sales to the downside, we want to see this low being cleared out. And then if I come into the 5 minutes time frame, we had price having a sweep of liquidity at this point. We have price sweeping this highs liquidity as a form of confirmation from that area. Then we want to see price clearing that low. Therefore, price came down, clear that lows, the low that swept that highs liquidity, and therefore, if price will be coming back into this area to retest that point of interest, we will be looking for our selling opportunity from that point, and then we will be targeting this low down here as our first take profit. Also, we can also target this low down here as our second take profit. So once price comes into that area, I want to see price mitigating that daily, the 30 minutes time frame order block. We have that order block there. I want to see price mitigating that area, and then we have a confirmation from that point to take our selling opportunity to the downside. So that is it on US 30. I want to see price reacting from that point. And if price won't respect that area of that our point of interest, we'll be expecting a push to the upside a little bit before the price drops to the downside. Price can come into this area here and react also from there. But as of now, this is my best point of interest, guys. I want to see some aggressive selling from there. So let me clear that. So that is my view, guys, on US 30. If you have a different opinion, just comment down below the comment section. So I have another pair. I have silver as my next pair. So guys, from our last analysis, we had a very good analysis on silver. And I told you guys, once price broke this structure to the downside, we expect a pullback as always. And if price wants to have a deep retracement, we have this daily order block that is unmitigated, and price might look to take this high as a liquidity. But if price will be reacting to the downside, we will also react with how the price reacts. And I told you guys I'll be looking for some short-term buys because of that. Because of what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating price to come into this daily order block to take out this high as a liquidity and then tap into this area before we look for more sales to the downside. So if I come into the 4-hour time frame, I marked for you guys this fair value gap, and price is currently reacting from that fair value gap. And if we want to look for more buys to the upside, we need to wait for price to have a pullback into these areas here. I want to see price filling in this fair value gap. Already the fair value gap is being filled, but I want to see price pulling a little bit back into this area. This is already forming those break of structures to the upside. You can see this low formed this high, and then we have the pullback, a high, a pullback, and then we expect price to be moving the upside. So already price is reacting from this area, and we are supposed to be looking for those buys to the upside. So if price will be looking to come even lower, I want to see price respecting this low here, and then we take our buys to the upside. Or if price will be having that deep retracement into these areas, once again, we look for our buys from that area to the upside. So on silver, that is what I think. Let me look for a point of interest. Let's say maybe in the 4-hour time frame. Also, we have this fair value gap up here, which price can react from. But at the moment, I want to see price respecting this low, and then we look for our buys from that point, and we target this area here, You can target that fair value gap as one as your first take profit, and then we also continue taking our buys to the external liquidity. So on silver, I want to see those buys coming from that area. We didn't have a clear sweep of liquidity here. That is why I have a doubt this analysis on silver. But in case price has momentum to the downside, expect this low to be taken out because we didn't have any sweep of liquidity on this point of interest, and that clearly shows that there is a red flag around this area. Price can look to come even lower and sweep this low's liquidity before having the move to the upside. But as of now, let us watch out for this area, and if we have the trade, a confirmation from that area, we take our buys from that point, and then we target this as our first point of interest, and then we will be continuing to look for buys up to that external liquidity. So that is what I think, guys, on silver. Though the analysis on this pair is not very clear, but I'll be updating you guys. I also have XAUUSD. I also have gold. So on gold, guys, on gold we have a very good reaction from that fair value gap. Remember that from our last analysis, I told you guys that because price decided to have a change of character, we were expecting price to take out this low as the external liquidity, but price later on came up to change factor to the upside, and then we had this fair value gap as our first point of interest, attract price to come into this fair value gap, and then we look for a buy from this area to the upside. So we have our target at that external liquidity, and in the 4-hour time frame, I told you guys that we should watch out for this area down here. So that was the point of interest that we were targeting, and the price came into that area, the fair value gap that I had marked for you guys, and then we had this massive reaction. We have an engulfing candle here, and currently right now in the 1-hour time frame, inside that fair value gap, price tapped into this order block in the 1-hour time frame, this order block, the 1-hour order block, and then we had this massive reaction to the upside. So currently right now, I expect a pullback down into these areas before I take my buys to the upside. And inside this point of interest, we had a very good sweep of liquidity here, and we also have a very beautiful order block inside the 30 minutes time frame. So this order block here is unmitigated, and we also have a very good fair value gap just above it. So let me clear this so that you can see it clearly. So I want to be looking for some buys from that area. So if price comes into this area, that is my best point of interest. Be looking for a buying opportunity from that area, and then my first take profit will be at this high here, and then the second take profit I'll be looking for price to come into this point here. So that will be my second take profit, and then the third take profit will be at the external liquidity. So guys, that is what I expect on gold. I expect a pullback into these areas, and then we look for our buys to the upside. So that is what I think, guys, and that is what I expect on gold. And because price is reacting from this 1-hour order block. So that is it, guys, on gold. Let us be very keen on that, and we take that opportunity once price comes into that area and gives us what we want to see before we take any trade opportunity. So back to NAS 100 as my last pair today. So on NAS 100, we have been looking for selling opportunities to the downside, and I told you guys that price has to take out this external liquidity, and finally price has already taken out that external liquidity, and this happened on Friday. And I told you guys price might be looking to come into this area, and then we look to see if price will be having a reaction from that point. But as of now, I think price will be dropping even lower because of the kind of structure that is being formed here. But let us wait to see what the price will be having for us. And currently, right now, what I can see in the daily time frame, I can see that price came into this fair value gap, tapped into that fair value gap, and then we had the reaction to the downside. Also, we have this fair value gap here sitting at that point there, and price has already taken out this low. So if price will be having a pullback into this fair value gap, that is the best point of interest that we can have at that area to look for a selling opportunity to the downside. So if I come into the 4 hour time frame, guys, you can see how the structure looks like. We had this break here. We had a pullback into this fair value gap, and then price continued to the downside. And currently right now, if I clear also that, the daily fair value gap is at this point here, and I expect price to come there and mitigate that area before we look for more sales to the downside. That is what I expect on BTC USD. I want to see price coming back into this fair value gap after breaking this lows break of structure. I want to see price coming back into this area. Also into this area here, we have this 1 hour order block that was unmitigated, and that can be a very good point of interest. So because of that fair value gap will be used to attract price into that area, and then we'll be looking for some selling opportunities. Let's say maybe around from this 1 hour order block, and then we take our selling opportunities from there, and then we target this low or this order block that is down there in the daily time frame. So what we expect on NAS 100, I expect price to be moving up into this area, and then once price gives us a confirmation, we'll be taking our sales to the downside. So that is what I expect, guys. Because of that daily fair value gap, I expect price to be pulling back to that fair value gap, fill in that fair value gap, and then we look for our trading opportunity from that area to the downside. So price failed to come into this power order block that we had up here, and therefore we just expect price to have a pullback, let's say maybe into this area, and then we have price dropping to the downside. And remember that you should be very keen, because once we have an external break of structure, price always has to come back, let's say maybe into the 50% level of the structure that was being formed, and then to have a break to the downside. So in case price doesn't react from this area, just know very well that price might be coming into the 50% level before moving to the downside. But as of now, this is the best point of interest, and I'll be updating you on whatever the market will be doing on NAS 100 as from next week. Let's say maybe on Wednesday, if I do a top-down analysis, I'll also go through NAS 100 to update you guys. So that is it for this video, guys. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss on any analysis that we do on this channel.